The alarm rang through Station Horizon 7 like a screaming bird. Captain Tejo put down his coffee and ran to the command room. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. Other soldiers were already there, looking at the big screen on the wall. "What do we have?" Tejo asked. A young officer named Minho pointed at the screen. "Sir, we found something. A small ship, very damaged. It is drifting toward us. No power. No signals." Tejo looked at the image. The ship was small. Maybe enough for 1 or 2 people. It was not human design. The shape was strange. Like a teardrop made of dark metal. Burn marks covered its surface. Someone had been running from something. "Life signs?" Tejo asked. "1. Very weak. Whoever is inside does not have much time." Tejo made his decision quickly. "Prepare a rescue team. I will lead it myself." Minho looked worried. "Sir, we do not know what is inside. It could be dangerous. It could also be someone who needs help," Tejo said. "That is enough reason for me." 20 minutes later, Tejo and 3 of his soldiers floated in space toward the damaged ship. Their suits protected them from the cold emptiness. Tejo reached the ship first and found a small door on its side. He used his tools to open it. Inside, the ship was dark and cold. Emergency lights gave a weak, red glow. Tejo moved forward carefully. The air in his suit told him the ship had no oxygen left. Whoever was inside had been breathing nothing for a long time. He found her in the pilot seat. She was not human. Her skin was silver blue, like moonlight on water. Her hair was long and white, floating in the zero gravity. Her eyes were closed. She wore torn clothes that once looked expensive, like something a rich person would wear. Dark, purple blood leaked from a wound on her head. "I found the survivor," Tejo said into his radio. "Female. Alien species unknown. She is injured and not conscious. We need medical team ready." "Tejo," he carefully lifted her from the seat. She weighed almost nothing. Her body was cold. Too cold. He held her close, hoping his suit's warmth would help her somehow. Back on the station, the medical team took her immediately. Tejo watched them put her on a bed and connect many machines to her body. Dr. Unji, the station's chief medical officer, worked quickly. "Will she live?" Tejo asked. "I do not know," Unji said honestly. "Her body is different from ours. I am learning as I work. But she is strong. She survived things that would kill most beings." Tejo stayed near the medical room for hours. He did not know why. Something about the woman made him unable to leave. Maybe it was how small she looked. Maybe it was the fear he had seen on her face even while she slept. Someone had hurt her badly. Someone had made her run. The next morning, Commander Hyok called Tejo to his office. Hyok was an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been a soldier for 40 years and had seen many things. "We have a problem," Hyok said. He pressed a button, and the screen behind him showed 12 large ships. They were beautiful in a frightening way, shaped like silver blades. Veloran Empire warships. They arrived 2 hours ago. "Veloran," Tejo repeated. He had heard of them. A powerful alien empire. Very old. Very proud. They did not like humans much. "What do they want?" "They want the woman you rescued." Hyok played a recorded message. A cold voice spoke in perfect human language. "The being in your possession is a dangerous criminal. She is property of the Veloran Empire. You will surrender her to us immediately. This is not a request." Tejo felt his hands become fists. "Property? That is what they said." Hyok looked at Tejo carefully. "They are offering to leave peacefully if we give her to them. No fighting. No problems. And if we refuse?" Hyok did not answer. He did not need to. 12 warships could destroy the station easily. Tejo thought about the woman in the medical room. Her silver blue skin, her torn clothes, the wound on her head. the fear on her sleeping face. Whatever she had done, whatever crime they claimed, she had been running. She had been afraid. She had nearly died alone in the dark emptiness of space. What did she do? Tejo asked. What was her crime? They did not say. They just said she is dangerous and must be returned. Tejo laughed. But there was no happiness in it. She weighs less than a child. She has been unconscious for 14 hours. She almost died from a head wound. Very dangerous. Hyok sighed. I know what you are thinking, but we have 3,000 people on this station. Families, children. I must think about them. I understand, sir. Tejo stood straight. But I also know what happens when we start giving people away. Because someone with bigger guns demands it. We become something we will hate. Pretty words, Hyok said. Pretty words do not stop weapons. Tejo walked to the door, then stopped. Sir, request permission to report that the escape pod was empty when we found it. Hyok stared at him for a long time. That would be a lie. Yes, sir. That would be very dangerous. Yes, sir. Hyok was quiet. Then, slowly, he nodded. The pod was empty. We found nothing inside. Such a shame. Tell the Valorans we are sorry we cannot help them. Tejo felt something warm in his chest. Pride, maybe. Or hope. Thank you, sir. He walked back to the medical room. The woman was still sleeping, still connected to machines. Her breathing was stronger now. Dr. Unji said she might wake soon. Tejo sat in a chair beside her bed. Outside the window, he could see the Valoran warships waiting like hungry animals. They would not believe the lie. They would not leave. This was only the beginning. But looking at the sleeping woman, Tejo knew he had made the right choice. Some things were more important than safety. Some things were worth fighting for. His grandfather had taught him that, long ago, back on Earth. When you see someone who needs help, you help them. You do not ask questions. You do not count the cost. You just help. The woman's eyes moved behind her closed eyelids. She was dreaming. Tejo wondered what kind of nightmares she was seeing. You are safe now, he said softly, even though she could not hear. I do not know who you are, or what happened to you. But you are safe now. I promise. Outside, the warships waited. Inside, a human warrior sat beside an alien princess, guarding her sleep, ready for whatever came next. Yuna opened her eyes and saw a white ceiling. For a moment, she did not know where she was. Then the memories came back like a flood of dark water. The running, the ship, the cold emptiness of space taking her breath away. She had been sure she was dead, but she was not dead. She was in a bed, in a warm room, with soft light around her. Machines beeped quietly beside her. Her body hurt, but not as much as before. You are awake. She turned her head and saw a man sitting in a chair near her bed. He was not Valoran. His skin was a warm brown color, like earth. His hair was black and short. His eyes were kind but tired, like he had not slept for many days. Who are you? Yuna asked. Her voice was weak and rough. My name is Tejo. I am a captain here. You are on a human station. We found your ship drifting in space. He leaned forward. You are safe. Safe. The words sounded strange to Yuna. She had not been safe for a very long time. The Valoran ships, she said. They are still outside. They want us to give you to them. Tejo's face became hard. We told them. No. Yuna stared at him. Why? You do not know me. You do not owe me anything. They will destroy this station. If you do not give me to them. Maybe, Tejo said. But we do not give people to others just because they ask with big weapons. That is not how humans do things. Tejo. Yuna did not understand. In her world, power decided everything. If someone stronger wanted something, they took it. The weak had no choices. That was the natural order. That was how it had always been. "You are strange," she said. Teho smiled a little. "I have heard that before." Over the next several days, Yuna grew stronger. Dr. Unji, a small woman with gentle hands, took care of her wounds. The human food tasted strange but good. People on the station looked at her with curiosity but not hatred. Some even smiled at her. Teho visited her every day. He brought her books about human history, human music, human art. He told her about Earth, the human homeworld, with its blue oceans and green forests. He told her about his family, his mother who made the best soup, his father who taught him to fight. And slowly, Yuna began to tell him about herself. "My name is Yuna," she said one evening. "I am a princess of the Valoran Empire. Or I was, before they threw me away." Teho listened without speaking. "In my culture, blood color determines everything. The most royal families have deep, purple blood. It shows purity, divine blessing from our ancestors. The darker the purple, the more valuable the person." Yuna held up her arm. Through her silver-blue skin, her veins were visible. The blood inside was pale violet, almost pink. "My blood is wrong. Too light. Too weak. They call it cursed blood." "Cursed blood?" Teho frowned. "Blood is just blood. It carries oxygen and nutrients. It keeps you alive. What does color matter?" "Teho." Yuna laughed, but it was a sad sound. "To my people, color is everything. I was born wrong. My father, the Emperor Daesung, was ashamed of me from my first breath. He hid me away in a distant tower, far from the palace, far from anyone who might see me. He hid his own daughter because of her blood color? For 23 years, I had servants, teachers, everything I needed, but I was never allowed to leave. I was never allowed to meet other people. I was a secret, a shameful secret." Yuna's eyes filled with tears, but she did not let them fall. "Then my younger sister Nari came of age. Her blood is perfect purple. She will be a wonderful empress one day. And my father decided he did not need to keep his shameful secret anymore." Teho understood. "He ordered your death. He said it was a mercy. That I should be happy to die so I would not suffer my cursed existence anymore." The bitterness in Yuna's voice was sharp, like broken glass. "One of my servants, an old woman named Bora, helped me escape. She gave me a ship, money, a chance to run. I do not know what happened to her after. I think my father killed her." For a long moment, Teho said nothing. Then he reached out and took Yuna's hand. His hand was warm and rough with hard work. Hers was cold and smooth. "I am sorry," he said. "I am sorry your family treated you so badly. I am sorry your people have such stupid ideas about blood." "Stupid?" Yuna was surprised. No one had ever called Valoran traditions stupid before. "Yes, stupid." Teho's voice was firm. "Humans did the same thing once. We hurt each other because of skin color, birthplace, religion, language. Millions died. We burned and killed and hated for generations. And now we know better. We still make mistakes. We are still not perfect. But we try. We teach our children that every person has value, no matter what they look like or where they come from." Teho squeezed her hand gently. "Your blood kept you alive. It runs through your body, keeps your heart beating, keeps your brain thinking. That is all blood needs to do. That is all that matters." Yuna felt something break inside her. Not break in a bad way. Break like ice melting in spring. Break like walls falling down. For her whole life, she had been told she was wrong, defective, cursed. She had believed it. She had hated herself for something she could not control. And now this strange human man, this warrior from a species her people looked down on, was telling her none of it mattered. He was looking at her like she was just a person, not a princess, not a curse, just Yuna. The tears finally fell. She could not stop them. She had not cried since she was a little girl. Valoran royalty did not cry. But she was not Valoran royalty anymore. She was just a woman. Far from home. Finally, finding kindness in the most unexpected place. Teho did not say anything. He just held her hand and let her cry. Later, when Yuna had calmed down, she looked at him with new eyes. Why are you doing this? Why are you being so kind to me? Your station is in danger because of me. Your people might die because of me. Teho thought for a moment. Because my grandfather taught me something when I was young. He said that the true measure of a person is not how they treat the powerful. It is how they treat the weak and the broken. Anyone can be kind to a king. But being kind to a stranger with nothing to offer, that shows who you really are. Your grandfather was wise. He was. He died when I was 15. I miss him every day. Teho stood up. Get some rest. Tomorrow will be hard. The Valorans are getting impatient. We need to prepare. He walked to the door, then stopped and looked back at her. Yuna, you are not cursed. You are not broken. You are just different. And different is not wrong. Different is just different. He left. Yuna lay in her bed, looking at the ceiling, feeling something she had not felt in a very long time. Hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could find a new life here. Maybe she could find a place where she belonged. Maybe this human warrior with kind eyes and rough hands could teach her what it meant to be valued just for being herself. Outside, the Valoran warships waited. But inside Yuna's heart, something new was beginning to grow. The Valoran fleet did not leave. Day after day, the 12 warships floated in space like silver knives. Waiting, watching. Every morning, Teho looked at them through the station's windows. Every morning, they were still there. On the 7th day, the Valorans sent another message. This time, it was not a demand. It was an offer. Commander Hyuk called a meeting of all senior officers. Teho sat at the long table with the others, his stomach tight with worry. He did not like the look on Hyuk's face. They want to negotiate, Hyuk said. He pressed a button, and a voice filled the room. It was smooth and cold, like ice. Humans of Station Horizon 7. We understand your reluctance. You do not know our ways. You do not understand why we want this female. So we offer you knowledge and reward. Give us the criminal Yuna, and we will give you much in return. Advanced weapons. Medical technology that can cure your worst diseases. Maps of safe travel routes through dangerous space. Alliance against your common enemies. All of this, for one defective female. The recording stopped. Hyuk looked around the table. Well, what do you think? One officer, a man named Sungjin, spoke first. Sir, the strategic value is enormous. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Their weapons could protect human colonies from raiders. Their medical knowledge could save millions of lives. And what do we lose? One alien we do not even know. Number 1. Alien we do not even know. Number 1. Others nodded. Teho felt cold anger rising in his chest. Captain Teho, Hyuk said. You have been quiet. You found her. What do you say? Teho stood up. His hands were shaking a little, but his voice was steady. I say no. I say, we refuse. Sungjin laughed. Easy for you to say. You are not thinking about the bigger picture. One life against millions who could be saved by their technology. The math is simple. The math is not simple, Taeho said. The math never includes everything. It never includes what we become when we sell people for profit. She is not people, Sungjin said. She is an alien. She is a person. Taeho's voice rose. She thinks. She feels. She cries. She hopes. She is afraid. That makes her a person. Her species does not matter. Her blood color does not matter. What matters is that she came to us for help, and we have the power to give it or refuse it. Pretty words, Sungjin said. But pretty words do not win wars. No, they do not. Taeho walked to the center of the room. Let me tell you a story. 300 years ago, on Earth, there was a great war. One side believed some people were worth less than others because of how they were born. They built machines to kill millions. They burned children in fires. They tortured and destroyed and called it progress. The room was silent. The other side fought back. Not because it was easy. Not because they would win. For a long time, they were losing badly. But they fought because they believed something important. They believed that every person had value. They believed that if you start deciding who counts as human and who does not, you lose your own humanity. Taeho looked at each face around the table. My great-great-grandmother was one of those people they wanted to destroy. She survived. She had children. Her children had children. And here I am, standing before you, because someone 300 years ago decided that she mattered, that she was worth protecting. He took a deep breath. If we give Yuna to the Valorans, we are saying she does not matter. We are saying some people can be traded like objects. We are saying that power makes right. And if we believe that, then we have already lost everything that makes humanity special. Commander Hyuk was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. Captain Taeho makes a strong argument. Does anyone else wish to speak? Dr. Unji stood up. I have been treating Yuna for a week. She is kind, intelligent, and brave. She has suffered more than most of us can imagine. Her own father tried to murder her because of her blood color. If we send her back, they will kill her. We will be murderers. Another officer, a young woman named Hana, spoke next. I joined the military to protect people, not to sell them. I vote no. One by one, voices joined. Some agreed with Taeho. Some agreed with Sungjin. The argument went on for hours. Tempers rose. Harsh words were spoken. Finally, Hyuk raised his hand for silence. Enough. I have heard both sides. Now, I will decide. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the Valoran ships waited like patient hunters. 20 years ago, Hyuk said quietly, I was a young officer on a colony world. Raiders attacked. We had a choice. Fight and probably die, or surrender and let them take our supplies. My commander chose to fight. We lost 30 good soldiers, but we saved 200 civilians who would have starved without those supplies. He turned back to face the room. I asked my commander afterward why he chose to fight. He said something I never forgot. He said, the moment you decide some lives are worth less than others, you stop being a protector and become something else, something I never want to be. I money live. Work, I money live. Hyuk looked at Taeho. Your grandfather sounds like my old commander. They would have liked each other. He straightened his shoulders. We refuse the Valoran offer. Yuna stays under our protection. Taeho felt relief wash through him like warm water. Thank you, sir. Taeho felt relief. Do not thank me yet. This will not be easy. They will not accept our refusal. Hyuk's voice became hard. All officers, prepare for possible attack. I want every weapon ready, every shield at full power, every soldier in position. The meeting ended. As Taeho walked out, Sungjin grabbed his arm. You have killed us all. You know that, right? For one alien woman, we barely know. Tejo pulled his arm free. Maybe. Or maybe we have saved something more important than our lives. Either way, I can live with my choice. Can you live with yours? He walked away, leaving Sungjin standing alone. Tejo went to find Yuna. She was in her room, looking out the window at the Valoran ships. She turned when he entered, and he saw that she already knew. They offered to trade for me, she said. I heard the rumors. Yes, and you refused. We all refused. Together. Yuna's eyes filled with wonder. Why? Their offer was generous. You could have saved many human lives with their technology. Tejo walked to stand beside her at the window. Because you are worth more than technology. Because selling people is wrong, no matter the price. Because that is who we are. Tejo, I do not understand you, humans, Yuna said softly. You will. Tejo smiled. Give it time. Outside, the Valoran ships began to move. They were forming a new pattern, surrounding the station from all sides. The hunt was becoming a siege. The battle was coming. Tejo could feel it like electricity in the air. But standing beside Yuna, looking at the enemy fleet, he felt no fear, only determination. They would fight. They would protect. They would show the galaxy what humanity was made of. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Tejo was sleeping in his quarters when the alarm screamed through the station. He was on his feet before his eyes were fully open, pulling on his combat suit, grabbing his weapon. Years of training made his movements automatic. His heart pounded, but his hands were steady. He ran to the command center. Commander Hyok was already there, standing before the large screen. His face was grim. On the screen, the Valoran ships were moving toward the station, like arrows flying toward a target. They are coming in fast, Hyok said. All 12 ships. No more waiting. No more talking. Our defenses? Tejo asked. Ready. But we both know the truth. Their weapons are stronger. Their ships are faster. Their technology is better. Hyok looked at Tejo. We might die today, Captain. Then we fighting. Hyok smiled. Just a little. I expected you to say that. Take command of Section 7. Hold the eastern corridors. If they breach the hull, that is where they will enter. Tejo saluted and ran. Section 7 was a maze of metal corridors near the station's eastern side. Tejo found his team waiting there. 15 soldiers, young and old, male and female. They looked scared, but determined. He knew most of them by name. Minho, the young officer who first spotted Yuna's ship. Hana, who voted to protect Yuna in the meeting. Sergeant Jungwoo, a grizzled veteran with more scars than hair. Listen up, Tejo said. The Valorans are attacking. They have better technology, more soldiers, bigger ships. On paper, we should lose. Great speech, sir, Jungwoo said dryly. Very inspiring, Tejo grinned. But they do not know humans. They think because we are weaker, we will break easily. They think we will surrender when things get hard. They are wrong. He looked at each face. We fight differently. We adapt. We improvise. We find ways to win that no one expects. That is what humans do. That is who we are. Today, we show them why they should have left us alone. The first explosion shook the station. Metal screamed. Lights flickered. The battle had begun. For the next 3 hours, Tejo and his team fought like demons. The Valorants breached the hull at 3 points. Their soldiers poured in like silver water. Tall and beautiful and deadly. They wore armor that glowed with energy shields. They carried weapons that could cut through metal like paper. They moved with perfect coordination, like parts of a single machine. But Tejo had prepared. Now, he shouted into his radio. The ceiling above the first group of Valorans collapsed. Minho had rigged the support beams with explosives. The aliens screamed as tons of metal crashed down on them. Their shields protected them from bullets, but they could not stop gravity. "Fall back to position 2, Tejo ordered. His team moved through the corridors like ghosts. They knew every turn, every hiding spot, every weakness in the station's structure. They had lived here for years. The Valorans were strangers in an unfamiliar place. Jungwoo had turned the ventilation system into a weapon. Toxic smoke poured into corridors where Valoran soldiers marched. Their armor protected them from the poison, but they could not see. In the confusion, human soldiers struck fast and disappeared before the aliens could respond. Hana had built traps from broken machines and loose wires. Electric shocks knocked Valoran soldiers unconscious. Pit traps sent them falling into storage rooms, where they were locked inside. Every trick, every dirty tactic, every desperate idea became a weapon. The Valorans were confused. Their training was for battles where both sides stood and fought honestly. They did not understand enemies who hid in shadows, who attacked and vanished, who turned the environment itself into a weapon. "This is not war," one Valoran commander said, over an intercepted communication. "This is chaos. Welcome to humanity," Tejo whispered. But even chaos had limits. The Valorans were learning, adapting. They brought heavier weapons, burned through barriers, created new paths. For every alien that fell, 2 more took his place. Slowly, painfully. Tejo's team was getting smaller. Minho took a hit to the shoulder and had to be carried to the medical bay. Jungwoo was limping from a wound in his leg, but refused to leave. Hana's face was covered in blood from a cut on her forehead, but her eyes still burned with fighting spirit. "Sir," a young soldier named Dong Yun said, "they are breaking through at Junction 7C. We cannot hold much longer." Loti, Dong Yun, Rung Yun. Tejo checked his ammunition. Almost empty. Checked his team. 9 soldiers left, all wounded, all exhausted. Checked the situation. Hopeless by any reasonable measure. But humans did not live by reasonable measures. "New plan," Tejo said. "We collapse the entire eastern section." Donghyun's eyes went wide. "Sir? That would destroy everything. The damage would take months to repair. The station can be repaired. Our people cannot be replaced." Tejo started moving. "Everyone fall back to Section 8. I will trigger the collapse manually." "Sir, that is suicide. You will be trapped." "Then I will be trapped." "Move." His team hesitated. Jungwoo stepped forward. "With respect, sir, I am not leaving you to die alone. I am old and slow anyway. Better me than you." "And me," Hana said. "And me," said another soldier. Tejo felt something warm in his chest. Pride. Love. These people, these beautiful, stubborn humans, were willing to die beside him rather than let him die alone. "Nobody is dying today," he said. "I have a plan. Trust me." He sent them away. Then he moved through the corridors toward the main structural supports. Behind him, he could hear Valoran soldiers approaching. Their boots made sharp sounds on the metal floor. Tejo reached the support column and started placing explosives. His hands moved fast, connecting wires, setting timers. He had learned this from his father, who had been an engineer before he was a soldier. "Human," Tejo turned. A Valoran officer stood 10 meters away, weapon aimed at Tejo's chest. The alien was tall, his skin silver white, his eyes cold purple. "You fight well," the Valoran said. "But it is over. Surrender the defective female. End this foolishness." Tejo's hand rested on the detonator. "Tell me something. Why do you want her so badly?" "She is just one woman, with unusual blood. She is property of the Empire. Property does not escape. Property does not defy. It is about principle. Human. If we let one defective creature run away, Others will try. Order must be maintained. Order, Tejo repeated. That is what this is about? Not justice. Not safety. Just control? You would not understand. Humans are young. Chaotic. You do not know the value of structure. Tejo smiled. You are right. We are chaotic. We break rules. We question authority. We fight when we should surrender. That is our weakness. He pressed the detonator. It is also our strength. The explosions roared through the eastern section. Metal twisted, collapsed, fell. Tejo ran. As the world fell apart behind him, he barely made it through a closing blast door before a mountain of debris blocked the corridor forever. On the other side, Section 7 was gone. Dozens of Valoran soldiers were trapped or crushed. The breach was sealed. The station had survived. Tejo lay on the floor, breathing hard, covered in dust and small wounds. After a moment, he started laughing. He laughed until tears ran down his face. They had held. Against all odds, against superior enemies, they had held. The battle was not over. But for now, humanity was still standing. The station was damaged but not broken. 3 days after the first battle, repairs were underway. The Valoran fleet had pulled back to a safe distance, licking their wounds. They had expected an easy victory. They had not expected humans to turn their own station into a weapon and collapse an entire section just to stop them. Tejo sat in the medical bay, letting Dr. Unji bandage the cuts on his arms. His body ached in places he did not know could ache, but he was alive. His team was alive. That was enough. Yuna came to see him that evening. Her face was pale with worry. You almost died, she said. For me. All those people almost died for me. Yes, Tejo said. And we would do it again. I do not deserve this. I am nobody. I am cursed, defective, worthless. My own father said so. Tejo reached out and took her hand. Your father was wrong. You are worth fighting for. You are worth dying for. Not because of what you can give us, or what you can do. Just because you exist. Just because you are you. Yuna looked at him with eyes full of something he could not name. Before she could speak, a soldier ran into the medical bay. Captain, Commander Hyok needs you immediately. We received a secret transmission from the Valoran flagship. Tejo and Yuna hurried to the command center. Hyok was standing before a screen showing a woman's face. She was Valoran, with silver blue skin like Yuna's, but older. Her eyes were red from crying. This is Lady Jiwan, Hyok said. She says she was Yuna's handmaiden. Jiwan! Yuna rushed forward. You are alive. I thought my father killed you for helping me escape. He tried, my princess. Jiwan's voice shook. But I have friends in the palace. They hid me. I have been waiting for a chance to contact you. I finally found a way to send this message without being detected. How did you end up on the flagship? Tejo asked. I offered to help track the princess. They thought I wanted to prove my loyalty after my mistake of helping her escape. But I wanted to be close to the action. I wanted to help. Jiwan's expression became serious. Princess, I have discovered something important. Something that changes everything. Yuna leaned closer to the screen. What is it? Your blood. The pale violet color that they call cursed. I found secret documents in the medical archives. Jiwan's voice dropped to a whisper. There is a plague spreading through the Valoran outer colonies. Millions are sick. Thousands are dying. The royal doctors have been searching desperately for a cure. What does that have to do with Yuna's blood? Tejo asked. Her blood is the cure. Jiwan's words hit like thunder. The genetic difference that makes her blood pale also makes her immune to the plague. Her blood contains antibodies that can save millions of lives. The doctors discovered this years ago. They told Emperor Daesung. Yuna's face went white. My father knew? He knew my blood could save people, and he still tried to kill me? He was afraid. If the people learned that the cursed princess held the key to their survival, they would question everything. The whole system of blood purity would collapse. He decided it was better to let colonies die than to admit he was wrong about you. The room was silent. Taeho felt sick. A father willing to let millions die rather than admit his daughter had value. It was monstrous beyond words. There is more, Jiwon continued. News of your escape has spread. Many common people see it as a sign. They say if the royal family would murder its own child for having different blood, maybe the whole system is broken. There are protests on the homeworld. People demanding reform. Demanding change. My father must be furious, Yuna said quietly. He is terrified. That is why he sent 12 warships to catch you. It is not just about you anymore. It is about stopping what you represent. Hope. Change. The possibility that the old ways are wrong. Taeho looked at Yuna. He could see the thoughts moving behind her eyes. She was realizing something important. My blood, Yuna said slowly. If I went back, if I offered my blood willingly, I could save millions of lives. Yes, Jiwon said. But they would use you. Drain you dry, and then kill you anyway. You know how they are. Yuna was quiet for a long moment. Taeho watched her face change. The fear faded. Something stronger took its place. What if I do not go back? Yuna asked. What if I give my blood freely? To everyone. No conditions. No demands. Jiwon looked confused. I do not understand. Humans taught me something, Jiwon. They taught me that the greatest power is giving without expecting anything in return. It changes things. It makes people think differently. Taeho understood. You want to broadcast to the Valoran Empire. Tell them about your blood. Offer it freely. Taeho. Offer it freely. Yes. Yuna's voice was stronger now. Not as a trade. Not as a weapon. As a gift. Let my people see what my father wanted to destroy. Let them see what humans protected. Let them ask themselves why strangers showed me more kindness than my own blood. Hyuk stepped forward. That is a dangerous plan, Princess. If it fails, you will have given up your only leverage. Leverage for what? Yuna asked. I do not want power. I do not want the throne. I just want my people to stop hurting each other over something as stupid as blood color. If giving away my blood can make even a few of them question the old ways, it is worth it. Taeho felt pride swelling in his chest. The frightened woman he had rescued from a dying ship was gone. In her place stood someone brave. Someone strong. Someone willing to sacrifice everything for a chance at change. I will help you, Taeho said. We all will. Yuna looked at him with gratitude. Thank you. For everything. For believing in me when I did not believe in myself. That is what humans do, Taeho said. Jiwon spoke from the screen. I can arrange a broadcast from here. I have access to the flagship's communication systems. We can send your message to every corner of the Empire. Do it, Yuna said. Tomorrow. I need time to think about what I want to say. The transmission ended. Hyuk dismissed the officers, leaving Taeho and Yuna alone in the command center. Are you sure about this? Taeho asked. Once you do this, there is no going back. Yuna walked to the window. Outside, the stars stretched forever into the darkness. Somewhere out there, her people were dying. Her father was plotting. The future was uncertain and scary. I have spent my whole life being afraid, she said. Afraid of my father. Afraid of my blood. Afraid of myself. Humans showed me that fear does not have to control you. You can be afraid and still be brave. You can be weak and still be strong. She turned to face Taeho. Tomorrow, I stop running. Tomorrow, I fight. Not with weapons, but with hope. Not with anger, but with love. Tejo smiled. You sound like a human. Is that a compliment? The highest one I can give. They stood together at the window, watching the stars, preparing for tomorrow. The tide was turning. For the first time since her escape, Yuna felt not fear, but excitement. Tomorrow, everything would change. The morning came too quickly. Yuna had not slept. She had spent the night writing her message, crossing out words, starting again, trying to find the right way to say what she needed to say. How do you change 1,000 years of tradition with one speech? How do you make people question everything they have ever believed? Tejo found her in her room, surrounded by crumpled papers. Her eyes were tired, but bright with determination. Ready? He asked. No, she admitted. But I am going to do it anyway. They went to the communication room. Lady Jiwan had prepared everything. The broadcast would reach every ship in the Valoran fleet, every colony, every city on the homeworld. Billions of people would hear Yuna's words. The thought made her dizzy. Hyuk and the other officers were there. Dr. Yunji, Sergeant Jung-woo, still limping from his wounds. Hana, with her bandaged forehead. Everyone who had fought and bled to protect a stranger from a distant world. Whenever you are ready, Princess. Jiwan's voice came through the speakers. Yuna took a deep breath. She looked at Tejo. He nodded, his eyes warm with encouragement. She faced the camera. My name is Yuna, daughter of Emperor Daesung, Princess of the Valoran Empire. Most of you have never heard of me. My father hid me from the day I was born because my blood was the wrong color. Too pale, too weak, cursed, they called it. She paused, gathering strength. For 23 years, I lived in a tower, alone, believing I was defective, believing I was worthless. When my father finally decided to kill me, I thought maybe he was right. Maybe the galaxy would be better without someone like me. Her voice grew stronger. I escaped. I ran into space, half dead, certain that no one would help me. Why would they? I was cursed, defective, property to be disposed of. She smiled, remembering. Then I met humans. They found my dying ship and pulled me out of the darkness. They healed my wounds. They gave me food and shelter. And when my father's warships came demanding my return, do you know what they did? They said no. Yuna felt tears forming but did not stop them. 12 warships threatened to destroy their home. My father offered them wealth and technology beyond imagination. All they had to do was give up one defective alien they had never met before. The choice should have been easy. They refused. They fought. They bled. They died. Not for power or profit. Not for alliance or advantage. They fought for me. A stranger. A nobody. A curse. Her voice broke, but she continued. I asked them why. Why would they sacrifice so much for someone so worthless? Captain Tejo, the human warrior who saved my life, told me something I will never forget. He said that every person has value. He said that his people learned this through centuries of pain, through wars fought over things as stupid as skin color. He said that humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons or ships, but their stubborn belief that everyone matters. She looked directly into the camera, into the eyes of billions of strangers. I have learned something else. My blood, the pale violet blood that made me cursed, carries immunity to the plague killing our outer colonies. The doctors discovered this years ago. My father knew. He chose to let millions die, rather than admit that his cursed daughter had value. She let that sink in. I am not telling you this to make demands. I am not offering my blood as a trade. I give it freely. My genetics, my antibodies, everything needed to create a cure. Any scientist, any doctor, any colony can have it. No conditions. No price. Why? Because humans taught me the power of giving without expecting return. They showed me that kindness changes things, that compassion spreads like fire, that hope is stronger than any weapon. Her final words came from somewhere deep inside her. My people, I am not asking you to rebel. I am not asking you to overthrow the emperor. I am only asking you to think. Ask yourselves, what kind of society murders its own children for being different? What kind of leader lets millions die to protect a lie? What kind of future do we want? The humans who protected me are not stronger than us. Their ships are not better. Their technology is not more advanced. But they have something we have forgotten. They have heart. They believe that every life is precious. That every person deserves a chance. That the weak deserve protection. And the broken deserve love. Maybe they are foolish. Maybe their kindness will destroy them someday. But looking at them, fighting beside them, living among them, I would rather be foolish like them than wise like us. I was born a Velaran princess. I was raised to believe I was worthless. But today, I choose to be something else. I choose to be human, not in blood, but in spirit. I choose hope over fear, love over hate, giving over taking. My name is Yuna. My blood is pale violet. And I am not cursed. I am blessed. Blessed to have been found by humans. Blessed to have learned a better way. She took a final breath. This is my gift to my people. Use it well. The broadcast ended. For a long moment, no one in the room spoke. Then Dr. Unji started clapping. Jongwoo joined her. Hana, Hyuk, everyone. The sound filled the room like thunder. Taeho walked to Yuna and put his arm around her shoulders. That was beautiful. I meant every word, she said. I know. Reports started coming in within minutes. Jiwon's voice was shaking with excitement. Something is happening. 3 ships are breaking from the fleet. They are refusing orders. The captains are declaring their support for Princess Yuna. More reports. Protests erupting on the Velaran homeworld. Scientists demanding access to Yuna's genetic data. Religious leaders questioning the blood purity doctrines. Common people marching in the streets, carrying signs with Yuna's name. This is chaos, Hyuk said, but he was smiling. No, Taeho said. This is change. On the Velaran flagship, Emperor Daesung watched the chaos spreading through his empire. His daughter's face was everywhere. Her words were repeated like prayers. The order he had spent his life maintaining was crumbling like sandcastles in a storm. Destroy the human station, he commanded. Kill everyone aboard. Leave no survivors. His admiral hesitated. Your Majesty, 3 of our ships have defected. 2 more are refusing to respond. We do not have enough force to guarantee victory. I do not care about victory. I care about silence. Destroy them. But even as he gave the order, he knew it was too late. The words had been spoken. The seeds had been planted. His daughter, his cursed, defective, worthless daughter, had wounded him more deeply than any enemy ever could. She had given people hope, and hope, once awakened, could not be killed. On Station Horizon 7, Yuna watched the remaining Valoran ships preparing to attack. There were fewer now, but still dangerous. Still deadly. They are coming, Hyuk said. Final assault. Everything they have left. Taeho checked his weapon. Then we fight. One more time. Yuna touched his arm. I am sorry. I wanted my message to stop the war, not make it worse. You did not make it worse. You showed them another way. Some chose to listen. Some did not. That is not your fault. Taeho smiled at her. And whatever happens next, we face it together. Human way. Remember? Yuna nodded. For the first time in her life, she was not afraid of dying. She had found something worth dying for. She had found people worth dying beside. She had found home. Together, she said, the final battle was beginning. Taeho stood at his battle station, weapon ready. waiting for the Valoran ships to strike. Minutes passed. Then, hours. The remaining enemy vessels hung in space like frozen sculptures, neither advancing nor retreating. "What is happening?" Hyuk demanded. "Why are they not attacking?" The answer came through emergency broadcasts from the Valoran homeworld. The images were chaotic, confusing, beautiful. Crowds filling the streets of the capital city. Soldiers laying down their weapons. The palace gates standing open for the first time in centuries. Emperor Daisung had been removed from power, not by violence, not by war, by his own council, his own generals, his own people. Yuna's broadcast had been the final crack in a dam that had been weakening for years. The flood of change swept everything away. "The Admiral of the Fleet is hailing us," a communications officer announced. Hyuk nodded. "Put him through." A Valoran face appeared on screen. He looked tired, older than before, but his eyes held something new. Something like shame. "Commander Hyuk, I am Admiral Sunho, of the Valoran Imperial Fleet." He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. "The former Imperial Fleet. I am authorized to inform you that all hostile actions against your station are ended. Our remaining ships will withdraw immediately." Hyuk was careful with his response. "And Princess Yuna? Princess Yuna is welcome to return home if she wishes. No harm will come to her. On my honor, what remains of it?" Sunho's voice grew heavy. "The council has asked me to deliver a message to her personally. May I?" Hyuk looked at Yuna. She stepped forward to face the screen. "Admiral, Princess." Sunho bowed his head. "The Valoran Empire owes you a debt that can never be repaid. Your blood has already saved thousands of lives in the outer colonies. Scientists estimate that millions more will be saved in the coming months. You gave us everything, and we gave you nothing but suffering." "I did not do it for thanks or debt," Yuna said quietly. "I know. That is what makes it so powerful. You showed us what true strength looks like. Not force, not domination. Compassion, sacrifice, love." Sunho looked directly into her eyes. "The council has dissolved the blood purity laws. What was once considered cursed is now honored. Your example has changed our society forever." Yuna felt tears on her cheeks. She had hoped for change but never dreamed it would come so fast, so completely. "And my father?" Sunho's expression darkened. "Emperor Daesung has been stripped of his title and confined to the distant tower where he once imprisoned you. Poetic justice, perhaps. He will live out his days in the isolation he forced upon you." Yuna thought she would feel satisfaction at this news. Instead, she felt only sadness. He was still her father. She had loved him once, before she learned to fear him. Somewhere in his cold heart, maybe he had loved her too, in his broken way. "Do not harm him," she said. "Let him live. Let him have time to understand what he did wrong." Sunho looked surprised. "You show mercy to the man who tried to murder you? A human taught me that mercy is strength, not weakness. Punishing cruelty with cruelty only creates more darkness. Perhaps if my father sees kindness where he expected revenge, he will finally learn." The Admiral bowed deeply. "You are wiser than any of us, Princess. The Valoran people are lucky to have you. I am not sure I will return," Yuna said. "At least not yet. I have found a home here, among these humans. I want to learn more from them. I want to help build bridges between our peoples. Then we will wait. However long it takes. When you are ready, we will welcome you back with open arms." The transmission ended. The Valoran ships began their long journey home. Within hours, the sky around Station Horizon 7 was empty of enemies for the first time in weeks. Celebrations erupted across the station. Soldiers embraced. Civilians wept with joy. Dr. Unji opened the medical supplies and handed out drinks. Even Commander Hyuk smiled, though he tried to hide it. Taeho found Yuna in the observation deck, alone, watching the stars. She turned when she heard his footsteps. "You should be celebrating," he said. "I am. In my own way, she looked back at the stars. I am thinking about how strange life is. A few weeks ago, I was dying alone in a broken ship, certain that my existence was meaningless. Now I have changed my entire civilization. How does that happen? You met the right people at the right time. Tejo stood beside her. Or maybe you were always capable of this. You just needed someone to believe in you first. You believed in me before I believed in myself. That is what friends do. Yuna looked at him. The word hung in the air between them. Friends. It felt too small for what they had become. Too simple for the bond forged in fire and blood, and desperate hope. Is that what we are? She asked. Friends? Tejo was quiet for a moment. We are whatever you want us to be. No pressure. No expectations. Your life has been controlled by others for too long. From now on, you make your own choices. Yuna smiled. It was the perfect answer. Not demanding anything. Not assuming anything. Just offering freedom and patience and respect. I choose to stay, she said. Here, on this station, with these people, with you. I want to learn more about humans. I want to understand why you are the way you are. And maybe, someday. That sounds like a good plan. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the distant suns burn against the endless dark. After a while, Yuna spoke again. Tejo, thank you for standing beside me when no one else would. He smiled. That is what humans do. In the months that followed, Yuna became an unofficial ambassador between humanity and the reforming Valoran Empire. She traveled on diplomatic missions, translated between cultures, helped both sides understand each other. The work was hard, but fulfilling. Tejo was promoted to major, decorated for his heroism during the siege. He could have taken a comfortable posting anywhere in human space. He chose to stay on Station Horizon 7, close to Yuna. Neither of them spoke about the future. Neither needed to. They had time. They had hope. They had each other. One evening, a year after her rescue, Yuna found an old photograph in Tejo's quarters. A young boy, standing beside an elderly man with kind eyes. Your grandfather? She asked. Yes. That was taken a week before he died. He told me that day that life would bring me many challenges. He said the measure of my character would not be whether I won or lost, but whether I fought for the right things. Yuna looked at the photograph, at the love visible between grandfather and grandson. He would be proud of you. I hope so. Tejo took the photograph gently. I think he would have liked you. He always said the best people were the ones who had suffered most, and still chose kindness. Yuna felt warmth spread through her chest. She had lost her birth family, her home, her old life. But she had gained something more valuable. A new family, a new home, a new purpose. She looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Valoran Empire was changing, growing, healing. Humans were spreading across the galaxy, carrying their stubborn compassion wherever they went. The future was uncertain and beautiful, and full of possibility. Tejo? Yes? In my culture, when someone saves your life, you owe them a debt forever. But humans do not think that way. Do they? No. We do not save people to create debts. We save people because it is right. Then let me give you something freely, with no expectation of return. The human way. She took his hand. My gratitude. My friendship. My trust. Whatever future we build together, I face it with joy because you are beside me. Tejo squeezed her hand gently. And I face it with joy because you are beside me. Outside, the stars burned eternal. Inside, two hearts beat as one. The galaxy had many species, many empires, many ways of living. But tonight, in a small station on the edge of human space, something new was being born. A bridge between worlds. A promise of understanding. A hope for tomorrow. This was the human way. And now, it was her way too.